All right, 100 inventions by Black inventors. That's quite the deep dive we're about to take.
It really is, and it's amazing to see so many things we use every day.
Just thinking about it, it really makes you realize how much we take for granted. Like, imagine, if you will, trying to fit all your furniture in a tiny apartment. You'd probably wish you had a Murphy bed, right?
Definitely.
But did you know that a Black woman actually invented a version of that, like way back in the day?
It's true. Sarah Good, she was a furniture store owner in Chicago back in 1885. And, well, she saw how people were struggling with space. Cities were getting crowded. So she came up with this brilliant idea for a folding cabinet bed.
Wow. And to think she even got a patent for it way back then, too.
Absolutely. It just goes to show sometimes the best inventions come from solving everyday problems.
Necessity's the mother of invention, right?
Exactly. And speaking of inventions that make life easier, have you ever thought about how much of a game changer the reversible stroller was?
Oh, for sure. It's like, I can't even imagine being a parent without one these days.
Right. And it all goes back to W.H. Richardson. He got a patent for it in 1889. It was such a simple idea, but so brilliant. I mean, now parents could choose whether they're baby-faced them or faced out to see the world.
It's amazing how something we see as so basic today was actually a huge leap forward back then.
Absolutely.
Okay, this next one might not be as glamorous as a stroller, but let's be honest, it's pretty essential. The toilet tissue holder.
Ah, yes, Mary Beatrice Davidson Kenner. It might seem small, but she really solved a common problem with that invention back in the 1970s.
I mean, loose toilet paper. No one wants to deal with that.
Exactly. And it just goes to show innovation isn't always about big, flashy things. It's about making our daily lives a little bit easier, a little bit better.
It's like thinking outside the role, so to speak.
I like that.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit now. From everyday comfort, let's talk about inventions born out of a need for safety and security.
Yeah, and when you think about it, some of the most important inventions come from a very personal desire to feel protected.
That makes sense.
Like, take Marie Van Britten Brown, for example. She was worried about safety in her neighborhood, especially with the slow police response times back then. So what did she do? She created the first home security system in the 1960s.
Wow. So the home security systems we have today are really thanks to her.
In a way, yes. She used peepholes, cameras, monitors, even a two-way microphone. It was revolutionary, not just for technology, but for how it addressed a real social issue. It was about empowering people, giving them a sense of control over their own safety.
It's amazing how she turned her concern into something so impactful. It's like turning fear into innovation.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, talking about safety, we can't forget about the invention that's probably saved more lives on the road than anything else, the traffic light.
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine modern traffic without Garrett Morgan's three-light system?
Chaos.
Total chaos.
Yeah.
But back in 1923, that yellow caution light was a game changer. He took something that already existed, red and green lights, and made it so much better. And think about how many accidents it's prevented, how much smoother it's made our lives.
It's like sometimes the simplest things have the biggest impact.
Yes, sir, sure.
So here we are, already a handful of amazing inventions in, and we've just scratched the surface of this list. It's pretty mind-blowing to see how these inventions, born from different needs and different times, have all shaped our world today.
It really is. And it just makes me more excited to dive into the rest of this list.
Me too. And there are some seriously impressive, even life-changing inventions coming up, ones that go way beyond our everyday routines. Ready to be amazed.
Oh, I am definitely ready. It's really incredible to think about how these inventions, from safer streets to like more organized bathrooms, they've really shaped the way we live. But I think we're both ready to talk about some truly like life-altering inventions, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
especially interested to hear about those that have, really pushed the boundaries in healthcare.
Well, when it comes to healthcare, you absolutely can't talk about groundbreaking inventions without talking about blood banks. I mean, before Dr. Charles Drew's work, blood transfusions, they were, well, risky, often ineffective too.
I know I've heard his name before, but to be honest, I'm not that familiar with his work.
Oh, Dr. Drew was more than just a skilled surgeon. He was a brilliant researcher, really.
Mhm.
During World War II, he revolutionized our understanding of blood plasma. He developed ways to preserve it, to store it safely.
So that's what led to the large-scale blood banks we have today.
Exactly. His work made transfusions much safer, and that paved the way for how we do things now. It's incredible to think that his work, which came out of the urgency of wartime, has gone on to save countless lives since then.
It really is a legacy that has touched generations.
Absolutely. It just goes to show the power of scientific research, right? And how one person can truly make a difference. And speaking of making a difference, let's not forget about something that's probably in your pantry right now: peanut butter.
Wait a minute, peanut butter. Really? I had no idea there was a connection to Black inventors then.
Oh, definitely. While George Washington Carver wasn't the sole inventor, he played a huge role in making it popular. Back in the early 1900s, he saw just how amazing peanuts were as a crop. He actually came up with over 300 uses for them.
Wow, 300. That's incredible.
Right. His work really changed how people saw peanuts, turning them into this incredibly versatile ingredient. And of course, peanut butter became a, nutritional staple for so many people.
So from life-saving blood transfusions to a delicious, nutritious spread, it's amazing to see this range of inventions, wouldn't you say, Tom?
Absolutely. It highlights how Black inventors have really impacted so many areas of our lives, from essential healthcare to, the foods we enjoy every day. But we're not done yet.
That YouTube video you sent, it's got some truly groundbreaking inventions, ones that, well, they go beyond what we might consider everyday items. You ready for some wow moments?
Oh, bring them on. I'm ready to be wowed. Well then, get ready to be amazed by the laser phaco probe. This incredible invention, developed by Dr. Patricia Bath in 1986, it completely changed how cataract surgery was done.
I know cataracts can affect vision, but I'm not really sure about the details of the surgery itself.
Well, cataracts cause the lens of your eye to get cloudy, leading to, blurry vision. And if left untreated, it can even lead to blindness. But before Dr. Bath came along, cataract surgery was a big deal. It was complex, risky, and the recovery time, it was long. But then she invented the laser phaco probe. It uses a laser to remove the cataract, and it's incredibly precise. This made the surgery less invasive, way more effective, and get this, the recovery time was much shorter.
It's just incredible how Dr. Bass's dedication to helping people led to such an amazing invention, giving someone back their sight. Imagine that. What a gift.
A perfect example of how compassion combined with scientific know-how can truly change lives. Now let's shift gears again, shall we? From the world of medicine to something a little more, well, fun. Let's talk about summertime fun.
Okay, I think I know where you're going with this. Let's talk about the Super Soaker. Can you believe it's hard to imagine summer without it?
It's true, right? Such an iconic toy, and it all came from the mind of Lonnie Johnson. And here's the amazing part. He wasn't a toy designer, he was a NASA engineer.
No way. The Super Soaker came from a NASA engineer. That's wild.
Right. Shows you that great ideas can come from anywhere. You see, Johnson was working on all these complex projects like the Galileo mission to Jupiter, and that just fueled his passion for science and engineering. And that very same passion, it led him to create a toy that's brought joy to, well, millions probably.
It's a great reminder that innovation doesn't have to fit into a box. From, revolutionizing eye surgery to giving kids the best water fights ever, these inventions show just how much Black inventors have contributed to our lives.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more out there. But for now, maybe we should take a moment to, really appreciate everything we've learned in this deep dive.
I know, I feel like my mind is buzzing with all these stories, all this creativity. We've gone from the practical to the profound, and it's left me feeling pretty inspired, to be honest.
Me too. That's what's so exciting about this deep dive. It's not just about the inventions themselves. It's about the people behind them, their stories, and the impact they've had on all of us.
Absolutely. So are we ready to wrap up this incredible journey into the world of inventions?
Let's do it. I'm really curious to hear your final thoughts on, what stood out the most to you.
It's amazing, isn't it? We've journeyed through this world of inventions, and it really hits you. Just how much Black inventors have shaped our world throughout history.
It does. It really does. And it's not just about, being clever or coming up with something new. It's about that resilience, that determination to overcome obstacles and make things better.
For sure. We started with that folding bed, right? Solving a problem so many people face in those cramped city apartments. And now, think about the laser phaco probe, like completely transforming how we approach a medical issue, improving lives in such a tangible way.
And it's a great reminder that, well, inventions don't just happen out of the blue. A lot of them, like Marie Van Britten Brown's home security system, they came from a need to address real problems in society, to make things safer and more fair for everyone.
I think what's really striking to me is the sheer variety of these inventions. I mean, we've talked about everything from those life-saving medical advances like blood banks, to something as simple as a toilet tissue holder. And then, of course, there's the pure fun of the super soaker.
It really shows how much Black inventors have touched every corner of our lives. From the things we need to survive to the things that bring us joy.
Going through this list, it makes you wonder, how many other inventions are out there, maybe hidden away in history, just waiting to be rediscovered and given the recognition they deserve?
That's such an important point. What we've talked about today, it's really just a starting point. It's made me want to dig deeper, to find out more about the people behind these incredible creations, the stories that haven't been told.
Absolutely. It really makes you realize history is full of these untold stories of ingenuity and perseverance, just waiting to be brought to light.
And who knows what other groundbreaking inventions are out there just waiting to be discovered. What amazing thing will we learn about next?
That's what's so exciting, right? There's always something new to learn, always more to explore. And I think that's the perfect way to wrap up our deep dive today. It's been a real inspiration, reminding us that human creativity has no limits and that there's always something new waiting to be discovered.
I couldn't agree more. It's been a pleasure exploring these fascinating inventions with you.
And as we say goodbye, I want to leave our listeners with a question to think about. What invention from our deep dive today really stood out to you, and why? Maybe it's something you use every day without even thinking about it. Or maybe it's an invention that made you appreciate the brilliance of the person who created it. Whatever it may be, take a moment to think about how these inventions have shaped your world and how we can continue to support and celebrate the amazing work of Black inventors, both past and present. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep being amazed by the power of human ingenuity.